Ladies and gents, you guys have been asking for an update on Path of Exile. I am more than happy to share that with you, but today is a special day as well. I have a cameraman. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Hello. Our team is here. Come with me. We are preparing for our Subathon, which starts in the morning at 9:30 a.m. So I'm not sure why we have all this stuff. I'm providing it. So we've got multiple tripods, loads of cameras, monitors, and things like that. And you're not going to share why, Mike, are you? No, you're not. Can we get the charging station in? Because I think it'll drive people crazy. So we've got GoPros, we've got phones, we're going outdoors, definitely. That was part of the idea. Headphones, straps, this is a danger, and we probably need to fix that. But over in here, Mr. Chris is here, our #1 editor. How's it going, pal? You can see he's working. He's actually hidden the screen. I thought I'd catch him out. He's actually hidden the screen so he can't see what he's doing. So we got Chris working on that, as well as laptops and stuff here. It's going to be a big day. More cameras on the side. I don't know what's planned, but it's going to be awesome. So I hope you come and check it out with us in the morning. It's going to be a long week. We might be live for 7 days straight, 24 hours a day, hopefully doing some cool challenges. So fingers crossed. Let's jump into the video, shall we? We did it! We nailed it! Act 10 complete, unguided, no build guides, nothing, man. Worked it out. What a journey this was. What an absolutely incredible journey this was. And it's not over yet by any means, but more on that in a second. So we did manage to defeat the last boss, but that was not even remotely the biggest challenge I came up against in this entire thing. In fact, the last boss, Katava, of Act 10, the campaign of PoE, I actually squashed. One, I didn't really realize that I'd already fought Katava before. So when the boss came out, I'm very mechanics driven. So the mechanics of the fight instantly made sense to me. I totally knew what I was doing and squashed it. I did die once, mainly because I couldn't see where I was supposed to stand. There was a big firewall. But other than that, nailed it. The best thing that I did throughout this entire challenge, and I think there's more to come, was actually the labs. Now, I know a lot of PoE people are probably laughing about this, and I recommend you tune into that Bay Class podcast where the guys were quizzing me about this. But the labs is a unlockable area of the game that procedurally gets harder throughout the game. So you unlock like lab level 1, then later in the game lab level 2, and it was lab level 3 where I ended up going straight into Mythic World of Warcraft Raider mode and did 17 tries against the final boss there, because the first thing that happened to me, you have to fight this final boss in labs 3 times as it gets gradually harder. I could not survive a single hit. Not one hit. If I was hit one time, it was GG's, it was game over. And I know lots of you, from various bits of feedback I've heard, I've spec'd my character to be entirely DPS. No defensives at all. And they're probably not surprised that that happened to me. And I imagine most people there would take the sensible option of just like going away and fixing your character. But the stubbornness in me kicked off. I was fully ready for it and into it we went. And a couple of hours later, God, that feeling was everything I love about gaming. Let it be done! Fuck you, man! Fuck you! Get out of here, you clown! You suck, dude. You suck so bad. You're so free. So freaking free.
Such mine.
Get out of here, pal. Oh my god. Oh. I thought I killed him in this corner. When he was stood over here, I thought he was fucking dead. Nope. Nope. Still had it down. All I could do was throw the totem down and hope for the best, man. Overcoming a challenge that was doable, and that was the thing. I knew the fight was doable. If I think it wasn't, I would have gone away and fixed my character. But for me, when I hit a wall, which is a doable boss that we can go at, and I just need to learn, and I need to play better. It's the same thing many of you have probably seen in my Dark Souls playthroughs, or even Spider-Man, where we ended up spending 6 hours on a single challenge in that game to 100% it. That's what I love, and that feeling I had right then was the most extraordinary thing. Let's talk about a little bit more details going in here. Did I hit a wall? Okay, so yes, I did struggle against this boss, but did I hit a wall in my gameplay, which many people predicted I would? I didn't. What I found, like for me, was that the game started to indicate to me that I was running out of steam. My damage was okay, but not great. My survivability was okay, not great. And so I slowly started to die more and more. And that's when the game was indicating to me that you needed to upgrade your gear Something needed to change, otherwise this was just going to get worse. I didn't hit a flat wall where I was just like dead instantly and I couldn't progress and I needed to go back to formula and figure everything out again. I actually think the game did a really fair job of telling me, like, slowly, at least through the campaign, it's like, okay, things are getting a bit ropey now. You need to start addressing these issues. So what did I do as an unguided player to address these issues? Well, I really struggled to understand, and this is where the confusion kicked in, which is not surprising to anybody who's played PoE, but this is when the confusion hit for me. I still, to this day, I'm unguided and I'm pursuing extra challenges, but there are so many things in the game that I just don't understand, not because they're hard, and I think this is the interesting thing, they're not clear. They're not clear, and they certainly don't work in a logical sense. So armor would be one of those. Armor does not work how I think it should work or what my brain tells me it should do. So I have, say, 36% damage, physical damage reduction. What that doesn't seem to do is take a hit of 100 and drop it down by 36 points, which is what I would think that would do with a 36% reduction. There must be some sort of diminishing return or scaling going on there in order to manage that process, because I still, alongside that, don't really understand how resistances work. I have good resistances besides chaos resist, where I have 60% minus chaos resist, and I have no idea why. So I've got that going on for me, but it doesn't make sense to me that I can 100% immune something. Although I can get my resistances to be over 100%. So I can have 116% fire resist, yet I definitely still take damage from fire damage. So I'm very confused as to how that works. So I had to try and guess what to do. So what I did is I gambled, which is super fun. And if you've not played the game, gambling is really fun. There are vendors in the game. Use the resources you've been collecting naturally while playing to gamble for items. They could be good, they could be bad, but I essentially just tried to get my resistances to like 100% to see how they would go, and then tried to do as much as I could with my chaos resist, all the while trying to keep my damage important. And this is where I actually finally figured out what crafting was. This again was an illogical thing in my brain, where crafting, in any game, any RPG or any of that type of game, when I approach crafting, that means building an item from scratch. That's what it means. I get recipes that I can build chests, I can build boots and things like that. But that is not what it is in PoE. So I ignored crafting for like 3 days until I was like, I should just mess with this a bit more. Maybe I can, and this was my inspiration. Maybe I can craft something now, because I've unlocked a lot of crafting recipes, better than what I have. So then I started playing with it and discovered that crafting is actually what I would refer to as enchanting, which is adding things to an item without fundamentally building it from the ground up. So if you get a really decent item, you can actually add something else to it. This got me over the humps easily, because it allowed me to balance my resistances a lot better. It allowed me to buff damage. It allows me to buff a bit of HP, because I just literally enchanted extra life, or I enchanted lightning resistance onto my gear. That was a huge saver when I actually sat down and started messing with this. And the next thing I did after that point was actually open the help menu in the game, which isn't great, but it did start to fill in some of the blanks of the things I was seeing, such as the charge system. I had no clue what the charge system was. I started playing a spell called Flicker, which I adore. It was the most fun thing that I have found in this game. And in fact, over my playthrough, I actually played Flicker for a huge chunk of it. And then, because Flicker is dangerous, Flicker teleports me between enemies when smashes them to pieces with the right support spells. I switched over to something called Lacerate, which I only did because I seemingly ended up with a load of bleed buff talents. And I don't like the bleed effects in the game particularly, but it made sense to play something that applies a lot of bleeds if you're going to be naturally, if I have all these talents and things that are naturally buffing bleeds. And I found an axe that gave me 20% more bleed damage, so the game kind of pushed me towards bleeds. But it turned me into like a ranged melee, which I really did not enjoy. That was not what I was after, and compared to Flicker, it just was not fun. So on the last day of Act 10, I moved back to Flicker, and I'm still playing Flicker to this day because it was so much fun. I enjoyed it. I endlessly enjoy it when you clear an entire map in a few seconds. Sometimes you instantaneously die, which we addressed in video 1, but it always felt like kind of my fault. That was the thing. So, a lot of confusion in my brain right now. A lot of confusion, and I'm still working on Guido. That's probably going to end soon, but I am enthralled by this game. Like, absolutely enthralled by this game. And it has some problems going on right now, which I, as a new player, am absolutely not aware of. Like, I don't know how it was in the past, and I don't know where the game is going. So, I've got that wonderful childlike experience of coming into a game that seemingly in the community has issues, yet I can't see them yet. So now this challenge is complete, though. Where does that leave me? Because I want to play more of it. So what I decided to do is I asked the streamers who have this wealth of knowledge over years of playing this game, what is a realistic next goal? And so they were saying things like, well, there's another level of the labs. It's really hard. But after my experience in the tier 3 labs, I can't wait. So that's the thing. I've also decided to branch out into all these systems and areas of the game that are not relevant to the campaign, but the campaign introduces you to them, even if you're not quite sure how they work. So maps is my favorite right now, which is just spawning maps of various levels that have all sorts of different affixes, have completely wonderful random things occurring in them, which I've failed several of them, but I'm trying. And we're up to map level 7 at this point. But I'm definitely starting to hit another wall there, so that's going to be my next challenge to overcome to see where that goes. And the streamers did indicate, it's like, if you push that way, you're going to find some bosses. The reason I like maps is there's generally a boss at the end, which I love. As an RPG player, I love a good boss. I've also started messing around in this minecart thing where we go underground. I'm not going to go into too much detail because anybody who's played PoE knows what these systems are. I'm still discovering them for the first time. So I have all this to play with like a Candyland. And I want to figure that out for myself because it involves flares and dynamite and things like that. And there's hidden areas. There's a thing called heist where you literally rob a building and you have to get out really quickly. Not a huge fan of that. I've given that a bit of time. But I want to go back to it. I'm not writing it off just yet. I've discovered something called Harvest and another multitude of ways of crafting things and trying to get them perfect. But what this has allowed me to do, and I think the biggest thing that's got me hooked right now, is no matter what activity you choose to do, and this is a big difference from World of Warcraft, like a huge difference from World of Warcraft. Every activity you do rewards you naturally by doing the thing you want to do. So I want to go and do heists, for example. If I go and do a heist, it's still going to be like, here's some stuff to go and do the underground area. Here's some stuff to go and do maps. Here's some stuff to go and do X, Y, and Z. And you're constantly being rewarded in some way to go and do a different activity. This game tells you nothing, yet in my head, I have 100 things I want to do. I want to mess around with builds. I want to go and try out all these new areas. And every time I choose which direction to go in, it's giving me the stuff to say, yeah, but now you can go and do this, 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 and this. And you almost feel like, because I don't have a primary overwhelming goal right now, I almost feel like everything I do opens 5 more doors. And I can choose which ones to go in. Now, at some point, I'm going to hit the efficiency style of it. But right now, I have to say I'm so proud that we overcame the challenge of completing the campaign. But it's far from over. And I'm so excited to see where that goes. So I'm going to keep you updated on how this is going. And at some point, I will be... And I think this is important, and I stress this a lot, is I would not have played this way in an ordinary fashion. At all. At certain points, I would have absolutely Googled the answer. I don't know why my resistances show a number and then show a number in parentheses. I would have Googled that. I'm playing in an unrealistic way, but at the same time, I'm having an absolute ball with it. I'm having so much fun, and it's certainly going to be something we're interweaving over our Subathon. So I hope we see you guys at the Subathon. I hope you're enjoying what we're doing in Path of Exile right now, and I can't wait to see where the door leads me next before I hit my natural wall of, okay, we're just gear farming now, because that's not where I'm at just yet. I've got challenges I want to beat. So I'll keep you updated, guys, and thank you so much for watching. I really hope to see you this week. So there you have it. We are done. Act 10 is complete, but the roads all lead to different places, and we have so much more to do, and I can't wait to share that experience with you. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you tune into our Subathon over the weekend and help out some charities. Should be a lot of fun. Bye-bye.